What is up, guys? It is Dan, the trading man. Going to do some analysis in the S&P 500 crude oil and gold as usual. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day, a nice break from the markets, good 3-day weekend to kind of rejuvenate and catch up. There's been a lot going on, a lot of range-bound activity between a few markets. And in the S&P 500, I've highlighted a couple levels here, as you see, purple and blue. Get rid of this for now. So basically, we kind of went over this in the last video if you saw that. If not, it's okay. If I go to an hourly chart here as well, what's going to happen is you're going to see these gaps. And if a little bit longer here so we can see the other one be played. This has been quite the range over the last month or so, basically. Had a gap down, pretty large here. And we just draw this level up, and you see numerous times testing that level and falling each time we get there. Every single time. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. A 5th time recently that we've trailed down into. And on the other end, we've had some gap ups. And this particular gap up here, we had a blue level, and we ended up bouncing higher from that. I had this blue level as well marked, and we hit this today on the Labor Day, and I could definitely see us retesting this area. Typically, that's how that will go. But what I liked about this particular area, and why I highlighted it in the middle, normally the middle of the range you don't really want to get involved because the middle can be a dangerous spot where typically we're going to fall to the other end. But what I do like about this particular area is if you take a low to high retracement, 50% level is right by the gap up that we had here. And so we see that today, this low was 28.89, and the low, the 50% level here is 28, about 89. So that's about almost at the tick what we hit and went higher off of. Again, I would not be surprised at all if we came back down and hit this level again. Wouldn't even be surprised if we came back down and touched this level again. But I'm just showing you how these levels do play out, and it's very interesting how that happened. Now, moving forward from here, again, we'll see what happens, but this has been a very tight range for a month. You have to think sooner or later we have to break out of this range. Just a big move higher or a big move lower, I think will do that. It'll push the buyers or the sellers a certain way. And so that's all we're waiting for in this market here. Now in gold, sorry, this is oil, a solid trend higher over the past year or so. And then all of a sudden the snap happened last fall into 2019. To me, led to more of a bearish route with a high to low trade. Not very clean though, so I don't leave it up. I just reference it every now and then. And then coming from this area, we've definitely seen, in my opinion, some pretty big drops over the summer, a little bit in the spring, but mainly here a high to low 50% level, and we've been in this area a few times. And we've fallen for the most part. I mean, look, I remember this day on July 31st. I remember this day when we were trading because we retested this area and also had a day trade involved in that same level. And then recently, really the past couple weeks here, we had kind of like a miniature high to low going on in this area as well. And that's what happened. If you saw on Friday, just that entire week, in my opinion, if you go to like a tick chart on the 987, we can even go to just like a few days here to see what Friday looked like. Most of the days last week were very quiet, not a whole lot of volume going on. And then Friday, we came back into this area. And again, if we can go to the hourly chart, or maybe just like a 15-minute chart here, just to pull it up. On Friday, you can see we came up and then immediately dropped really hard. And in general, in that particular area, that is what has been happening time and time again. Going to that daily chart and just looking at this high to low here, we had the high to low in this area. If you draw the next high to low just to have that reference up, and we can go to an hourly chart now, you'll see that we're constantly testing these levels and we keep falling off of them, which is very interesting from a selling standpoint. And going to that tick chart, again, just a few days to look at Friday, you'll see on Friday that we moved lower, ran a little bit higher, and then just really ripped down the rest of the day. I mean, this was a huge move. We're talking, not really moving much between 9, 10 a.m. We're staying in this 20, 30 cent range. And then all of a sudden, 10, 13 a.m., and we just start taking off. 10:20 a.m. This happened in 7 minutes. In 7 minutes, we dropped almost a couple points. It was over a point, which is over $1,000 per contract in oil. And from 9 to 10, we had only been in a range of 56.20s, 56.60s. So we're in this 40-cent range for an hour, and then 7 minutes happens, and it's over a whole point, which is a very big difference. So we'll see how this week plays out in oil. We've been seeing a lot of range-bound activity similar to the S&P 500. So we'll see if we actually do continue lower or if the market here rebounds and goes higher. We have inventories coming out on Thursday instead of Wednesday this week, so keep that in mind. That could also play a significant role in where this market heads afterwards. Until then, we will see. But it is interesting how we keep testing these areas, and every time we test, we keep falling from them. Going into gold, you can see here, I have been going over this for a long time now. Gold making tremendous moves throughout the year. We're in numbers that we have not seen in years. I mean, since I started looking at investing and trading, we have not seen these numbers. So to me, this is very incredible to be looking at and witnessing it for myself. Going to a hourly chart, we'll do that. You can see we have this low to high setup now, and 1527 is what we're going off of. We'll see if this holds or if we're going to continue to go a little bit lower here. You see we have this little bit of a smaller high coming out of our major high, moved a little bit lower, but gold has been, every time I think we're going to go lower again, it keeps going higher. So I think it's time I stop doubting it and let it run. But really significant moves. Again, I always pull up this chart. For the last 4 years, we haven't even touched the 1400s, and then all of a sudden we're in the 1500s, about to be in the 1600s. So big things are happening in gold. Very interesting to look at. And hopefully I'll have some more day trading videos out soon going over the different markets, particularly in oil. And eventually, like I said, we'll have some more premium content going over the setups I take, why I take them, the entries and exits, and how I manage my trades. I think that'll be very interesting and good knowledge to share to people. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully these videos help, and I hope your trading goes well. If you have any questions or comments, like always, let me know. All right, have a good day and a good week.